Welcome to SAS, short and sweet tips for the business sector from the Case Mastermind Group. Welcome to the Entrepreneur SAS Tips Show, where SAS represents short and sweet, a place where you can get easy and straight to the point tips around your entrepreneur journey. I'm your host today, Patrick Twitchett, and I have a fantastic guest with me. Please let me tell you a little bit about them first. Gary has been in business 45 years as a manipulative and physical sport therapist, having had a successful business also with the Amway company and subsequent success with the Herbalife organisation. Gary has spent the majority of his career dealing with people and building teams. He's also been married 3 times. Therefore, he has a great deal of experience in the relationship field. So I'm very pleased to welcome today Gary Price. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you, Patrick. Yeah. Very nice to be
here. Good to have you. Good to have you. Thanks very much for coming on the show today. And I understand you're going to talk to us today around the subject of four things that stop people succeeding. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you guide us through, but start us off with your subject number 1, please.
Subject number 1, I will cover childhood, because every child, everyone that's born has been born with a gift. We've all been born with a gift. We've all been put on this earth for a reason. It's trying to find what our gift is. And I've come across so many people that have, they've died with the music system. They've never found what their gift is, what their music is. So every child has been born with aspirations. They have dreams, they have goals, they're things they want to achieve. But every child that's born, they've only been born with 2 fears. One is fear of falling, and the other one is fear of loud noises. By the time we become 3, we've got lots of fears. And then time we get to 7, we are hardwired into all sorts of things that we can do and what we can't do. And then so that goes back to the childhood part. Now, I had an ordinary childhood, quite a good childhood, but it was just ordinary. By the time I got to 7, I had massive amounts of fears, because when I first went to school, you go to school, I was the smallest boy in the class, and I had the biggest ears. So you can imagine, I got slaughtered. When's Noddy turning up? Dumbo, all this sort of. So although my childhood was quite good, the fears were there. So, and we are hardwired into what we can do and what we can't do. So if we've got good parents that always encourage us and always say that we can do this and always help, it's the same as if every parent would encourage their child as they do when the child first wants to walk. The baby's there and he's trying to get up, and the baby holds onto the chair and forces itself up, and it goes to walk and it falls down. Parents encourage. Parents don't say, "Oh, well, that's it. You can't do it. You'll fall over. You're never going to walk again in your life. You're useless." They encourage. And we encourage, and the child falls down, he gets up, and it falls down, and gets up, and we encourage 100% to get that child walking. Yeah. But from that point, then we don't encourage them. And some parents, they don't do it on purpose, but they have this off-the-cuff, throwaway comment, like, "Oh, Johnny knocks his cup of glass of orange over, and he gets called an idiot. Stupid." Now, that young boy could be an 80, 90-year-old boy walking about, going round in his head thinking, "Dad thinks I'm an idiot." And he goes around with that. I'm an idiot because of what they've said. So if you've got, parents that can do that, if parents are not happy with one another, the child can hear everything that goes on. At 3, they soak everything up as a sponge. And at 7, this is how the pattern is set. And some of them are set that, it doesn't matter what I do, it ain't never going to work out. I can't do this, I can't do that. And then they start school. Depends what the teachers are like. The children in their school, what are they like? But that's me basing on my childhood, which is quite good. What about the young children that started from way back? We're all born the same. But what about the children that have been physically, mentally abused? They start so further back than us, so further back. But does that mean they're ever going to get there? Some of them people, the further they start back, at the end of the day, become very, very successful because they know the struggles, they know the hardship. So many couples or parents today, they don't let their kids struggle. Everything is laid on the plate. They're not struggling. They don't teach them to struggle.
No.
And I've had friends where they have worked so hard to build a business and to create a real successful business, but they don't teach the kids to struggle. And they hand them this business. And I always say it goes from rags to riches back to rags. Yeah. If you don't teach them to struggle, you don't teach them, they just don't understand. They don't understand. And I say, my boy's 23. Now, when I was a kid and my parents sent me up in my room because I misbehaved, all I got was a lamp. Getting sent to my bedroom was hard. It was hard. I got a lamp. Nothing. You send children off to their room there. Thank you very much, Dad, because I've got TV, I've got laptops, I've got my phone. They're all geared up. Yeah. So they've never been taught to struggle. But we all want our best for our children. You've got to teach them to struggle. You've got to teach them to struggle. You've got
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that the schools today, my children are a similar age range, and the prize for 8th place, what does that teach anybody? Sports day, 8th place prize. Get out in the real world. It's crazy.
Precisely. There's got to, you've got to be a winner in life. It doesn't matter what path you take. Yeah. Whenever you decide this is where we're going, you've got roadblocks. You get stopped. There's challenges. That is nature. The strongest trees in the world are Canadian reds. That's because they're on top of the mountains and they cop the strongest wind in the world. But it makes them the strongest trees. It's something that we need the struggles. We need the struggles. We need to understand that whatever has happened to us in our life, especially the children that have been abused or haven't had parents, have had a real tough upbringing, what they begin to realise is that we can focus on this and we can go and succeed. Doesn't matter where you start. You must take charge. Now, obviously, when people become adults, they've gone through all this terrible stuff. They continue for the rest of their life, keep complaining, parents were bad, teachers was bad, this ain't right. They come to a point where you have to decide, I've got to take responsibility for my decisions. I've got to start looking. All these things that have happened, they've happened for you, not to you. And when you can change that round, this has been happened for me, so I now know that this is how I mustn't act, and this is what I have to do as an adult. This is what I have to do as a decent human being, and this is what I have to do to go and succeed, whatever that pathway is. But and it seems to be getting worse. It seems to be so much anger in the whole world today. And I used to go, you could see someone that was driving, as soon as they get back in the car, in that car, and they become angry. They become, because they're covered by that vehicle. Well, it seems to me today that people are on computers, on Facebook and Twitter, and because they're not actually with that person I bought, they can be horrible and nasty. And the thing is, they're horrible and nasty is because it makes them, they're not feeling good. They've got no self-image or no self-confidence. So the way they make themselves feel good is to run someone down. It's like football the other day, England against Bulgaria. All them people that were chanting, by them chanting and being racist, made them feel better about them. That's all they do it for, is to make them feel good, because they feel like shit most of the time. So they have to have a go at someone else. And it seems to be getting worse.
No, it's totally true. And I think, you know, well, they call it keyboard warriors, don't they? It's so easy for somebody without being face to face to do and say what they like. And I remember being told at a very young age, you know, any confrontation, you've got to do it face to face, or at least over the phone, verbally. There's just so much room for misinterpretation. And you know, there's so many people out there that couldn't say something to your face. They just could not bring themselves to say it, but stick it on an email, stick it in a letter, and they'll read you the right act. And you know, this is the social media is like anything else on earth. There's good and bad. It depends what you do with it. The telephone's great, but if you want to gossip all day on it, then the content is bad. So it's not the platform, it's not the vehicle, it's what you're doing on it. And too easy today to be able to hide behind so many things. And yeah, well, the football comparison, you know, they're standing on the sidelines watching. The guys on the pitch, they're playing the game. And I think that's a very, very good comparison to life, isn't it? The ones that are just picking holes, they're too busy standing at the side doing nothing to have time to pick holes. The people getting things done are playing a game, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, it's the same. If you get your traffic jams down the motorways, an excellent one on one set of lanes, and there's a big slow up on the other side because you've got the rubberneckers looking at that, and the only pleasure they get from that is say, thank God it ain't me. Everyone's looking to make themselves feel better rather than them making themselves feel better, because if you're on somewhere, you're on a mission, you know where you're going, you're happy. And the whole part of life, what I've always said, if you're happy, you're healthy, and then money will return after that. But you must be happy first. I know I've got friends. I've got a particular friend. He's a really wealthy man. He's got, you know, £2 million boats parked in Spain. He's got villas. He's got helicopters in his house. You open his garage, he's got every top range car you can ever imagine, and he still ain't happy because he thought that he could earn this load of money, get all these wonderful toys, and that would make him happy. It don't. Happiness first, then that makes you healthy. Yeah. Then whatever money you want will come your way, and that's what I've been. The book I've just written is called about Nature's Secret, and it's all about nature. If we live with nature, everything goes along wonderfully. The problem is we're the only ones on this planet that have been given a mind. Everything else, the birds, the animals, the trees, the grass, the flower, everything has been given a set pattern and they haven't got to think about it. They just carry on. That's fine. They know what to do. No, when the seasons change, when they go, us, we've been given a mind so we can change our lives. And unfortunately, most people don't use it. They use it, but in the wrong way.
Yeah,
in the wrong way.
Yeah.
I remember a real good a motivational speaker, old chap, and he said to me, Gary, he said, whatever you think about all day long, you will become. And I went to bed, that concerned me. That concerned me when I went to bed because I was worried. Simply because I was a very young man when I heard that, and I thought, shit, I'm going to wake up as a woman. Because all I think I was 20 about was females. I thought I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be a female. I'll be all right for 24 hours and stay in bed, but I'll get bored of that. But I told him, that's not literally, Gary. Whatever you think about, you will become. And that will happen. That's the secret. It's dead easy. But people think, no, that ain't going to happen. So.
Very true. And you know, I mean, that's the law of attraction. And, many books written. They've
Yep.
Recently compiled The Secret, which was a huge success.
That's it.
It just brought the profile of the law of attraction to a greater audience, I think. But there's too many people that are looking at what could happen to them in life, or looking at, you know, that they haven't got any money, rather than looking at what we can do to make things happen and what we can do to make things right. And where your thoughts are, there will you be also. And it's very, very true. We see it so many times, don't we?
But it's a subject we could talk hours about. You know, it's a subject that we could talk, because it's so vast. But all the 4 principles I write about that can stop you achieving, they're all interconnected. They're all connected together.
Yeah.
All this problem of people achieving their success.
Yeah. So I mean, now's probably an appropriate time. So tell us about this book, Gary. Briefly.
Yeah, I've been asked to been doing it for ages, and as you know, because I've done a lot of speaking for big companies, my dream now, this is my vision, because I've gone through so much. I've had a lot of success in a lot of businesses. I've had lots of failures. You know, they've been up and down. It's been a constant battle. I've always been fixed in one area. This is what we're going to focus on, and this is where we're going to go. I'm on my 4th marriage, which it's took me a long while to find this particular woman who is my soulmate, my best mate. But I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to quit. We're going to keep going on. So all these things are put there to make us stronger. But you've always got to have that vision, first of all. And people don't understand what they can achieve if only they could focus on it, and they dreamed of big goals that they could work towards. And then you can handle this stuff that comes your way.
Yeah. No, absolutely, Gary. So true. And
I've been writing this book. Okay, you talked about the book. That's the problem. I'll go straight off. But yes, I've written the book. I've had it all typed out. I'm going to start having it published, because now we're going to be building a YouTube site. And I'm going to be doing lots of 5-minute videos. And the aim is, because of what I've done, I'm now at an age where I must go and give. I don't want to die with all my music inside me. I want to now go and help as many people as I can, and to help them to come to terms with life, whatever they want to do. It might be just they want to lose weight. They might want to succeed in a business. They might want to have a better relationship. All the knowledge I've acquired for all these years, and the hundreds and hundreds of books I've read, and the amount of speakers I've spent time with, and my own experience, now it's time for me to give. Now it's time for me to give back, to help, rather than me dying with all this stuff. This is the vision. I want to be on stage and help as many people as I can.
No, absolutely, Gary. And I think, you said it a few times, people dying with that music still inside of them. And, we've all got some knowledge and wisdom to impart. We've got things that we can do, but too many people just keep that inside of them. And, there's nothing worse than when someone invents something really clever and someone says, "Oh, I thought of that. I thought of that once." And it's like, well, yeah, you might have thought of it, but what did you do with it? I think inventors, people just look at an inventor as someone that thought up a great idea. No, they're the person that actually done something about it and put it out there. And there's too much of that missing today, isn't there?
Well, you got a lot of people say, "Well, I never had the chance." They're the people that never have the courage to take the chance. They just, I always say, life is like a rugby match or a football match. Are you a participator? Do you play, or are you the spectator?
Yes.
Because we've only got one crack in this game. We've only got one crack in this life. We get no replays. We have one crack at it. So we've got to be here and doing a lot of helping us, our family, our own personal little bubble, to help them to move on in life and to be happy. That's why I've had so many marriages. I've always wanted to be happy.
Okay, so that's great. So I like your sort of summary of childhood, and a lot of people today, and you've touched on it, that entitlement mentality that seems to be prevailing and getting worse and worse in society. People feel that they're entitled for something. You hear of young people going for jobs now, and they're going with the attitude that, well, what, Mr. Boss Man, I'm doing you the favour because I'm coming to work for you, not how people would see it originally. Oh, thank you very much for giving me a job and an opportunity to work in your company. It's totally reversed.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, you get people I'm 48 now, a lot of people my age complaining about it. But, well, we're the parents of that generation, so we shouldn't shout too loud because we're the guys that brought them up. We're the guys that put them in schools. Sorry?
We're the ones that have spoiled them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spoiled them.
Absolutely. Mollycoddling and, wrapping people up in cotton wool. And it's created a society where you can't tell me what to do. And, we just need to reevaluate how we're treating people and how we're letting people into this world, I think.
Yeah,
really. Definitely.
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent, Gary. So please move us along to your second subject, please.
Is it crab basket?
That's right. You were going to talk to us about the crab basket, which is a very interesting subject.
Basket. Right. The crab basket. The crab basket is our siblings, our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our wives, our husbands, close friends. And the crab basket is a big round basket, big dome, and it's got on the top of it a big entrance. So the fisherman will lower that down, that lays on the seabed, and the crab will come along and he climbs up and drops and goes in the hole, and he's in the basket. He's in the seabed, he's got all the view, but he's safe, he's comfortable. No predators can get him. He's in this basket. This is wonderful. And then another crab would get in, and that crab would get into the basket, and there's two of them in there. This is great stuff. And then another crab will come in, and these crabs keep coming in. Well, after a while, the first crab in there thinks, this is getting a bit close. I'm getting too many people in. I don't like it. So he tries to get out. Now, as he tries to get out, the other crabs pull him back down. And if he tries to get out again, they pull him down again. If he continues to get out, they pull his legs off so he can't move. That is your siblings. That is the people that are close to you. Because if one day you decide to change your life, if one day you get an opportunity to go and do a particular something you've always wanted to do, a business, or start your own business up, anything in that line, or you've met this new woman and she's going to be perfect, whatever, it's them close people that say, it ain't going to work. You'll never be able to do that. That ain't going to happen. Misery always loves company. If all of a sudden you're going to move out and succeed in something there, your close people don't want you to leave. So they keep you in. They tell you can't do it. You can't be able to do that. That's going to be a waste of time. You're going to lose your money. They give you all this advice so you don't move away from them. And that's human nature, unfortunately. That's human nature. Misery loves company. There's all thumb suckers sitting in this basket. And we've had it. As you know, Patrick, you've been in the Amway business. You go and tell people, you go and see that opportunity, no matter what opportunity it is, and you go and tell you, I've seen this opportunity. This is going to be fantastic. We're going to earn loads of money. We're going to get this. And they go, no, you ain't. That's never worked. That never works. You'll never do it. And all of a sudden you go, from this fired up person, you go, oh, I think they're probably right. And then, because you can find negative in everything. No matter what it is, you can find negative. We can find negative in every possible thing. And that's what they look at.
Yeah.
We can also find positive in everything. And you always focus on the positive. No matter what happened, we focus on the positive. But no, they want to drag you in. They don't want you to succeed. You know, my boy just recently has been offered a real top job. And his girlfriend saying, you ain't going to do that. You won't be able to do it. You can't talk properly. You can't think. And my boy said, you better move out and go back to your mum, he said, because I want this job and I don't want no negative influence telling me I can't do it. I don't know where you got that from. That's your crab basket. And there's a lot of them.
And a great story. And yeah, I mean, I think I the first time I ever heard that, back in the day when I first met you, Gary, which was 25 years ago now, when I got involved in Amway, and I know you were part of it. And hearing that story, and you know, I've had a long time, 25 years, to think about that story since then. And with reflection and with all that's happened to me on my journey since 23 years old, you know, when I look back, like, I used to view it differently. Oh, you know, look at all these negative people just trying to put me down. Actually, when you analyze a lot of this is people that really love you, and you think, how can they be so mean? But actually, when you boil it down, when you boil these things right down, it's they have a concern for you, and they have a fear of the unknown. They don't know about it and they don't understand it. So they look at what you're doing. They can't understand what you're doing. So they instantly feel they need to protect you from what they don't understand and tell you that's not going to work. That's not right for you.
That's right.
Without, a lot of the time, without even letting you explain to them. You can try and explain someone to something and they're like, they've already preconceived an idea, or they've asked someone else that they feel is an expert, and you know, they get all these rubbish ideas and opinions, and
that's it.
And then they come back to you with that, oh yeah, I spoke to so and so, that doesn't work, so you need to get out of that. And you know, and again, I think now with that understanding, and you can understand the person's viewpoint, but I think to grasp that understanding initially and to see where it's coming from, we can react in the wrong way to it, can't we?
Of course, we've got to say, understand that they love us, they care for us, and you love and care for them, and you still talk to them, you still associate with them. But we're going to go do this. In fact, when people say that to me, that fires me up even more. Right, we are going to go and do this. This is going to happen. Hell of high water, this is going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think with your driven nature, you know, that sits with you great. And I think there's a lot of people out there, they're not that personality type. They're very sensitive to it. And it's those things that can knock them down. That person could have done so well, and someone's well-meaning words just took the plug out of their world, hasn't it?
Well, as you said, they go and speak to the experts. Well, an expert is a drip under pressure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to explain that. You need to explain that, break down that word to us, Gary, because some people don't understand the breaking down of that word.
Yeah, well, an expert.
Well, an X is a has-been, and a spurt is a drip under pressure, isn't it? That's right. I always remember that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So very true. But it's a fantastic story, but
it's all related. It's all still related to the childhood, so they're all interreacted. Yeah, they really are, because people can. We're all we're all hardwired, and then we have the people that we've spent a lot of time with, and their views on life and their views on business or happiness or relationship, and we refer to them constantly because that's what we've been brought up with. So we have these rules and these references we go back in time to say, well, when something's is a problem or a challenge now, we go back to the same challenge we had 4 or 5 years ago. So that's a reference. How did we handle and how did that go? And if that didn't go well, you can guarantee that one's not going to go well, because we keep going back to these old references. And that's what we've got suddenly. But all these 4 things we're going to cover, the most important thing of all this is that we have that drive, we have that goal, we have that dream. We have to focus on that, and then all these things won't matter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, history is a great thing. History shows us patterns and things that take place, so we can predict the future, or we can see the way that the future is going to go, because these things repeat themselves. But it doesn't mean that we need to spend our lives looking in the rear view mirror. As I always say, if you're going to spend your life looking in the rear view mirror, you're going to crash, because your eyes aren't on the road. And it's so true. Yeah, so true.
Well, I said this a little while ago, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I've actually written this down, is that, you know, if you've got like the M25, the 4 lanes going one way and 4 lanes going the other way. So all the anti-clockwise are the people that are negative, and they have to drive round in reverse to their destination. That's what they're doing. They're in reverse. They're going backwards. So can you imagine the carnage on that side of the road of everyone going backwards? They're not getting to their destination, they're not getting anywhere. On the other way is the positive people all going forward. That road's half empty. There's only a few on there, and they're powering on. And that's what life sort of. If we have got focused on something, it's like when you're at school and you were shown with a magnifying glass with the sun coming in. You get the magnifying glass and you direct this little dot on that piece of paper. That focus powers, and bang! That little dot goes brown and catches a light, because it was totally focused, and it happens. And that's what we have to do, is to focus on what we want, where we want to be, focus on our happiness, and we drive towards that. And it ain't going to be easy. If it was easy, everyone do it.
True.
There's these 4 things to stop it happening.
Yeah, true. So true. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And that is the big thing, isn't it? It's hard. And and I love that analogy there of the M25. And I think the positive highway, everyone's getting over to the left as well and allow people to pass. And I think that's one of the big problems on the road today as well. Causes a lot of accidents. People hogging their lanes. And I think there is that element to it. In a positive atmosphere, we're all there to help each other and help each other along the journey. It makes for a much better journey for everyone all round, definitely.
As long as you know where you're going, that's the important thing.
Yes.
It's like, you know, if you're happy and you're healthy, you know where you're going. And sometimes we will go to family gatherings or parties or go to the pub. And if you find someone that really knows where they're going, if it's he or she, and they're happy and they're positive and they're on a mission, they have tons of people all around them chatting, and it's all laughter. They're having fun. If you've got the negative person, Mr. Sad Sack is in the corner and no one don't want to talk to him. They try to avoid him. You know, when he leaves the room, we call him Sunshine, because the room brightens up and he's gone.
It's so true, Gary.
To gravitate towards the positive, happy people. Yeah. And the trouble is, inside they say, "Oh, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could do that." They can. It's the childhood, it's the crab basket, it's other things that have given this negative thing, and they can throw them shackles off. They can throw them right out, because there's a lot of bad youngsters that have had so many problems in their life, but they can throw them shackles off. They can get those dark files out of that filing cabinet and throw them, because they can move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The worse start you have, the better it is. It doesn't matter where you start, it's where you end up. Yeah, true. So very true. So I hope that sort of glides us nice and neatly to your third point, Gary. Partners. Partners. Now, it is so important, behind every successful person, male or female, behind every successful person is a bigger successful person that no one don't know who their name is, don't know who they are, but they are the most important thing because they are the cheerleader. That person who's successful, they're their hero, and they're the ones that encourage them. You can do it. And when you're down, if you've got that person with you, they lift you up. That is so important. And I say that if you've got a partner, wife, husband, it's important that they complete you, not compete against you. Because if they're competing against you, you've got no chance. No chance. And I always say, you know, if the household is divided, it crashes.
Yeah.
If it's in an office, if it's divided, it crashes. Look at Parliament. It's divided. It's crashing.
Yeah.
When things are divided. Look at Tottenham Hotspur's dressing room. It's divided and they're struggling. For a great group of players and a good team, suddenly there's something not right in that dressing room somewhere. They're divided and ain't doing well. So that's whether that's relationships, your marriage, your business, whatever it is. Everyone has to be collectively together. You know, I had a wife that said, why didn't you be a normal man? Why didn't you be a normal husband? Come home and sit down and watch Coronation Street and EastEnders. But I said, this is me being normal. Watching that crap ain't me being normal. I have to go do stuff. I'm always on a mission. We're always here. This is me being normal. But it's so important to find that partner that is going to encourage you and just back you in every step of the way, you know. And I'm fortunate now to have my fourth wife that I'm her hero. She's my biggest cheerleader, and she is the one who's encouraged me to write the book. I'm halfway writing the second one, and it's her encouragement all the time. It's her encouraged me to get on that stage, go help people, and she will be with me every step of the way. And that's what I've always been looking for. Always. I have friends say, you know, what's the secret of a successful marriage or relationship? I said, the way I look at it is that, say you go out on a Friday night with your mates and you're having fun, you have a few drinks, you're not completely pissed, but you're having fun, you have a few drinks, and when you go at home and you put your key in that front door, when you walk in, have you got to change your complete attitude, or can you carry on the same?
Yeah.
You go in there, you've got to be a different person, and she starts to have a go. You don't. This ain't right. It's just not. If there's no love at the table, it's time for you to go. That's important.
Yeah.
Many. We know so many couples that are walking around in quite desperation. Because there's no love at the table. There's no love in the home. They don't want to be with one another. They've outgrown one another because they've been on different paths. But they say, it's the children. We can't leave because of the children. That's hogwash. Complete hogwash. It's the money. It's only money. Because they say, I've paid for the mortgage, and we've got this house, and we've got all this, and if I leave, I'll have to sell my car and live in a flat, and I've got to pay. It's money. My attitude is I'd rather live in a tent. I've given all my money away. I've had 3 big houses, and I've just walked out and given to them. So look, it's yours. I don't need it. I need happiness. My health is so important, so I can live in a tent and be happy without going in and not walking through that front door. So it's really important. If you don't, if you ain't got a partner, you're on your own, go do what you want. But if you've got a partner, they've got to be working together. I've always said if you get a big shy horse, that shy horse can pull a ton. on his own can pull a ton. If you put 2 shy horses together, they can pull 3 ton because they're working together. And if you've got a couple, you work together.
Yeah,
Work together.
Very, very true, Gary. Very true, Gary.
Yeah.
And, I've heard someone speak on relationships before, and he made a very, very strong point that if you've got 2 selfish people, it's going to be like going into a bonfire full of fireworks all the time, because they're both pulling in their own direction. And it gets worse when you've got a very selfless person and a selfish person, because that relationship then becomes very abusive. This person's always giving and this person is always taking. But when you've got 2 selfless people that want to make each other happy, and the things that they're doing all the time is because they know it makes the other person happy, that is just such a
all about giving
match. Yeah, absolutely.
All about.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember that a story about the spoons with the long handles? You ever heard that one, Gary?
No, go on.
So there's a bunch of people sitting opposite on each other on a very wide table, and they've got these long 6-foot spoons, and they're trying to feed themselves, and they're completely miserable. And then you look at another place. I mean, they sort of gave that as a vision of hell, and then there was heaven, and heaven. There was the same table, people sitting opposite each other with these long spoons, but what they realised was that they could feed each other. And it was such a perfect analogy that they just realised, oh look, if I feed you, you can feed me. And they were in perfect harmony. Same situation, but a totally different attitude. And more people, when they realise that actually by giving, by being selfless and helping other people, then the help will come back to them. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. It's so important to be together. And one of the biggest problems I've found is that, every single one of us have got our own private rules. What time we get up in the bed, what time we get up in the morning, do we like milk in our tea? It's all these personal rules. Now, conflict is because people don't talk to one another. They don't talk openly about one another's feelings and things like. So if we don't know what the rules are of that person, their private rules, personal rules, we're always going to keep crossing them. There's always going to be falling out because people just do not talk. They really do not talk. They don't talk about personal things. When you're in a new relationship, you've got 3 months of having sex in every place there is on the planet, doing everything. But once that's done after 3 months, what do we talk about then? Have we got anything in common? Is there anything? And this has been the problem, through generations after generations. You've got to talk, find out what and then once you know the people's personal rules, then we can adapt them so we can both share and both work together. It's because people just do not talk. We don't talk about things like that. I don't know why, just don't.
No, that's right. And, to talk and to communicate it, but also the ability to listen, Gary, not just to hear, but to actually listen and take that on board, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've always said we've got 2 ears and one mouth, so we should always use it accordingly.
Yes, absolutely. I'm still struggling to find that balance myself, Gary.
Yeah, I do. You have to keep in check all the time, don't you?
So true. So true. No, but some really good advice there, Gary. So I think that subject on partners, yeah, really important. That selfless relationship with each other. So that sort of guides us, hopefully now nicely to your fourth subject, Gary,
which is sex, and that has crucified many, particularly men. That has crucified their success. That has crucified their success. They can be working really well, and all of a sudden it goes off. And that obviously leads to the partner. Sometimes they're not happy at home. They haven't got the courage to leave. They haven't got the courage to say, this ain't working. We're both not happy. We're both not right. And they haven't got the courage. So what they do, because they want to make themselves feel good, so they go and find, they meet someone else, and for half hour they feel good. But that's only getting them out of their situation. How many people have you known, presidents, prime ministers, they get to where they want, and suddenly this sex thing, this little head they've got in their trousers controls their brain thinking, and it just takes them off on a tangent, ruins their life. Where, as we've spoken earlier about Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill, if you can get that power that sex gives you and transform it into your vision and your dream and your goal, and that same drive that drives sex, you'll be the most successful person on this planet. This is what successful people do. Yes. It's that same thing where we said about the little child falling over and keeps getting up, learning to walk. The courage and the determination that child has is immense. If we can only just take that and put it into our adult lives, the same as when we're a young man. You know, you've got a young man who's 16 and he's got his first girlfriend, and they've been together for ages. And I know when I was 16, you're trying to get around up a jump and you're doing it, and this goes on until one day we got action. And she says to you, next weekend, my mum and dad are away. You can stay around and we can go to bed together. You can imagine. You are so fired up and excited. This is your first sex encounter. You're ready to go. And all of a sudden the heavens open up. She lives 10 miles away and we've got snowstorms, we've got wind, there are no trains, the roads are blocked, can't get anywhere. There's 10, 20-foot drifts. You can't get there. Do we say, oh, well, we won't do that today? We get there, don't we? Doesn't matter what is going on. It'll be the Third World War, bombs are going. If that's our first sex inventor, nothing's going to stop us getting there. We will get there. Why do we do that later on when we're chasing our dreams and our goals? That power is colossal. I've got friends and people I know, it's destroyed their lives because of that thing. They drive to it, but they won't go and drive to it to make their relationship good or to make their business a success or make their life a success. And if they want their children to succeed, they succeed first, children will follow. So many parents say to kids, oh, I want you to do this and do that. They ain't done it. How do you expect children to do it? You've got to go do it. You're the best advert for them. Let them copy you.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. And you touched on there Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, which is people refer back to this all the time. The greats, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and all these people. And that subject there, and I believe in the book he called it, was it sexual transmutation?
That's it. Yeah.
That's right. It's quite a big phrase, but it's focusing that drive, that passion into something. Yeah. So elaborate a little bit more, Gary, because you've obviously got that energy and the drive behind you in what you've done and achieved along your journey. Yeah. Just for someone listening that's probably saying, well, I've never even heard this subject. What on earth are these guys talking about? Just break it down so someone who's never really sort of encountered that subject before, how did you, Gary Price, how did you get that drive and energy, that sexual energy, what we would call it, to become a driver for you to your success in your journey?
Yeah.
How did you apply that yourself?
I think the most important thing is to have that dream or that goal. That's the most important thing. You must have that and say, right, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going. And so you plan. Yeah, never worry about the money. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. That will all turn up. Money will turn up. Things will turn up for you. It's having that dream, that goal, that focus, that vision. And this is what we're going to do. Right, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it in 2, 3, 4 years' time, or 6 months, whatever size goal it is, and we work towards that. Then, right, we've got that set. It needs to be written down. It needs to be written down. You need to be reading it. Every night before you go to bed, the last thing you do is to read this, where you're going and what you're going to do, because you want it in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind doesn't know truth or fiction. We can lie to it, and it acts upon it. You see, the conscious mind has got eyes. We can see, we can hear, and relate to the conscious mind of what we see and what we hear, or what we feel, or what we touch. The subconscious mind hasn't got none of that. It relies on our tongue. What do we say to our subconscious mind? I've always said we're hung by our tongue. What you put in will happen. You know, I've always said, you know, if you go with nature, if you plant nettles, you ain't going to get fucking tulips. Whatever you plant in comes out. Everyone's got computers. Everyone's got a smartphone. If you're going to put crap in there, guess what's going to come out? That's nature.
Yes.
So we must plant good stuff. We must plant good visions in our brain of where we want to be and what we want to do. Once you've got that, then you can look and say, right, this is my next thing. Who has succeeded in what I want to do? Who's actually where I want to be? And all you've got to do is to copy that person. It is so simple, but people get, oh, can't do this. I've been told I can't do this. That person's done it. I can understand if you're going to do something that no one's ever done on this planet before. It's more difficult. You've got nothing to refer to. You've got to be the trailblazer. But if you're going to do something that someone has already done, just copy them. Copy what they do. Spend time with them people that are going on the same. You know, I've always said, if you get locked up in prison for 10 years, you don't come out a policeman.
Yes.
Whoever you spend time with, you become the same as them.
Yeah. No, very true.
People you want to be.
Yeah. And I think history, you know, you touched on there, you know, when they were talking about putting the first man on the moon, first time it ever happened. No one had done it before, but you could probably relate back to the vision of Christopher Columbus going to the New World, because no one had ever done that before, gone across there and done those things. I think we later found out that the Vikings had done it. He wasn't the first one to get across there, but you know, it's the same vision, it's the same desire, and you go right back to that root cause, that vision, that what you're looking for. Most people today, they call it the why, don't they? The why. And if your why
is
make you cry, you know, your why's got to make you cry. And the meaning of that is it's got to be something that's really meaningful to you. It's got to energize you. It's got to excite you. It's got to be something that you really want to see happen. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It needs to be an objective, somewhere that you're going. Like you referred to earlier, you've got to have a destination. You've got to know where you're heading, haven't you?
Yeah.
But it's that excitement.
If you know where you're going, where you're heading, it's like being in a ship with no captain. You've got no rudder. You're just going to be taken by the storm. Wherever you want to go, you just get taken by. You've been led, rather than you being the governor, you being the captain of your vessel, your ship, and this is where we're going.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you want to go on holiday. You want to go on holiday. So you go online or you ring a travel agent or go to the travel agents and you say, I want to go on holiday. They say, where do you want to go? I don't know, somewhere nice. No, they want to know where you want to go. Where you want to go, when do you want to go, and how are you going to pay for it? That's 3 questions. Where do you want to go? You do, and you tell them. You don't say, oh, go wherever you want. Just, I'll get on a plane wherever it lands. No, we want to go somewhere. We have a destination. If you want to go in the car, we want to go and drive up to Liverpool or go to Manchester. We have a destination and we get the map. We got sat-navs now, but we know where we're going and we head our way towards it. That's life. That's the same thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
People complicate it. It's so easy. Follow nature and we go.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely brilliant, Gary. And such an excellent point to end on, I think, because when people have got a passion about what they do, you can see it so much. There's a totally different drive in somebody. There's too many people in the world today. They're stuck in a job. They're even stuck in a business. They might have been handed down that business. They might have started out in that business. They left school. They knew they needed to earn some money. They got into an industry because they may have had a skill in the industry or they liked it then. We all grow and evolve. And if we lose our passion for that, then it's nothing harder than getting up in the morning and doing something that you don't really want to do. Yeah. But you just feel obligated to carry on doing it. People are sitting in those painful situations and they're so frightened to take that jump, to make a move into something new, to open up and transform their life. Because if you're really passionate about it, you've got that passion about it, Gary, you never work another day in your life, do you? You've got in there. You've been doing that stuff. It's a great day. Yeah, every day is an exciting day.
You don't because you're not ill. You're happy. You're on a mission. You're going, and you're happy, and you keep healthy because my body is purely a vehicle for me to use. I don't listen to my body to say that's hurting, is it? No, you're here just purely to take me around of what I'm going to do. I tell you we've had enough. I tell you when we're going to pack up. But at the moment you're just a carcass, and you're doing exactly what I say. The tail don't wag the dog wags the tail. And I'm the dog, and my body's the tail, and it's going to wag when I tell it to. People say, when are you going to retire, Gary? I said, when I've hit the ground dead. I've retired, I'll let you know. I've got too much to do, too much to go on. I've got too many people to help.
Absolutely.
Some of the oldest people I've ever met are still on a mission. They're still setting goals. I've met, in the businesses, I've met a lot of Olympians that they train very hard for 4 years and they don't make the semi-final. And then they've got another 4 years where they actually get to the final but don't win it. And they've got another. So we're talking 12 years here. Yeah. And all of a sudden, bang, they've won the gold. And it's elation. It's incredible. They're on the TV. It's wonderful. This is the 3 months scenario again. And afterwards they get depressed. They get down because the goal's been achieved. Because they didn't realise the actual fantastic part of chasing it was the chase, was going after it.
Oh, yeah.
And they become depressed. They've got to set another goal. They have to set another goal and go after it because that's what life's all about. If you're not setting a goal, if you haven't got a focus, you've got nowhere to head in, you're actually dead in the inside and you're sitting there waiting for the body to catch up. I know people retire, they sit there and watch the frigging dog die. They've got nothing. They're gone.
Yeah.
And they're the ones, unfortunately.
But it's true. It's true. You've got to have a purpose to get you up this morning. So much. There's got to be a reason for getting up every day. And without that, that's so true. And, we can all, that example of the Olympian is so true. We've all got things in our lives You know, we wanted that car, we wanted that gadget,
Yeah.
and we were looking and we were researching online and we were looking it up. We were speaking to the salesman in the shop and finding out all the information, and we were getting all excited about it. Then the day comes, we actually get the thing. We might need to save some money up to get it. And when we get it and we've used it for a while, it's like, oh,
yeah,
is that it? It's not as exciting as it was. But it's because of the chase. The chase was the real excitement. We need to we need to have that new goal, that next something that we're aiming for.
Yeah. Well, that's that 3 months thing again. You buy a new car. For the first 3 months, you clean it and look after it. After that, we don't clean it anymore. Get it.
Yeah. Because we're there. We've got that goal. We've got to move on to the next. It's so true, and that's how we're wired. I think every human being is wired that way. And if we don't follow that that nature of that, we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
There's nothing worse. There is nothing worse. I've always, you know, and one day I will be there. Because there can't be nothing worse to be laying on your deathbed. You've got half hour to live, and going through your mind, you think, God, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd seen that. I wish I'd done. There can't be nothing worse. Can't be nothing worse.
No.
I've always said, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
I think that's so true, Gary, and that's something that is quite a driver for me. I've seen a few people pass away, and I've seen them, you know, as they've gradually, slowly been there, and I'm quite a reflective kind of character, and I look there and I'll say to myself, now I'm going to be there one day. It doesn't matter what I do. One day I'm going to be on a deathbed somewhere, wherever that is. And the thought of looking back and saying, I wish I had done that.
It can't be nothing.
An immense fear. That it's a positive driver. It's a positive driver to say, do you know what? I don't know the outcome of this. I can do this or I can do this. But I know what, if I don't do either, I'm going to have to deal with the regret of never having tried. And that is, you've got to do something. You've got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's, So, how are we doing then?
No, we're good. You're doing great, Gary. And thanks ever so much for that. That was a really good to hear. That final comment, the final topic there, and it's been really great hearing all the content that you've got and shared with us today. Now, before I let you go, I did pre-warn you that I was going to fire some questions at you, which I fire all our guests that we have. The first one, I love this one because this is for someone who's starting their journey, you know, they don't know which way to turn. Let's look at the young Gary Price. If you had to start again from scratch with very little money, no contacts, what would your first action steps? What would you do?
My first action, of what I know now, my first action would be to write down how I want my life to be, where I want it to be in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3. I would do a five-year plan exactly in detail of how I want my life to be in detail. And I would write that down and I will read this every single night. That's the last thing I do at night before I go to sleep is to read this. And I do that every single night. And I guarantee to anybody, if they do that every night for 12 months, I guarantee what they've read and put into the subconscious, they will receive that. There's nothing on this planet that can stop them having that. And don't worry about the money, how this is going to work. You just read that content and you run through the video of your life. You lay back at night, read, and go through the cinema in your own mind of how your life is going to be, how it's going to evolve. Whatever your goal or dream is, you relive it, you go through it in your imagination. Every single night, you're reading every single night. And I'll guarantee to anybody, if they do that every night without missing one, that will happen. No matter how big it is, it will happen. Nothing on this planet can stop it. And that's the key. Then you've got your destination. Everything else will fall into place. I guarantee it, fall into place. You ain't got to worry about money. How are you going to do it? You could dump me on a desert island. We'd write that down. I've got a pen and paper. And then we could go do. That's all you need is the picture in the subconscious mind, and that's the quickest way. That's the best way to get it in there, is to go through it and read it every single day. And you cannot fail. You cannot fail. It's impossible. That's no. You're planting. We're putting trees in the mind. We're putting fantastic stuff into that subconscious mind, and that's nature, and it comes good. I'll guarantee if you write a load of rubbish and how bad life's going to be and how unhappy you're going to be and everything, I'll guarantee it will happen 100%. If you put that in the subconscious mind, it will happen.
Yeah.
So that must be all I need, because once I've got that, the subconscious mind works to it.
No,
That's that simple.
Definitely, Gary. And I think when you've got that vision, all the details of the plan will come to you. The inspiration, the ideas, and the people that you need on the journey will come, won't they?
Yeah. Too many people they worry about the details first. Worry about how we're going to do it. Don't worry about that. Just have the destination first, and then as we move on, it will arrive. Now, I've always found if there's things I want to do, projects, I ain't got the money to do it, but I still go ahead, and somehow or other, money arrived for the project to finish.
Yeah, no, very true.
Yeah,
very true, Gary. Excellent. Very good answer there. Right, so the second question, I'll break it down into two parts. So it's, what have been the most groundbreaking moments in your life purpose and success? If you can tell us the hardest moment and also the best moment as well.
I suppose the hardest moments, because I've had loads of success and I've had loads of terrible failures. I suppose the hardest moment was to leave my first two wives and my children. That was the hardest decision I've ever had to make, but I had to make it for them. Especially my second wife with my son, I didn't want that to happen to him, but it was going wrong. Other aspect, it's all going wrong. Now, I was at the millionaire team level at Herbalife, which means that my particular business turn over $1 million a year. We earn very good income. But because I was at that level, I was away every weekend speaking, training, speaking in around Europe, all around the country doing training. So every weekend we was busy, earning good money. We were busy. And I'm divorcing my second wife. I've got my son that I've always wanted. I think he was 5. Now, do I earn a lot of money and give that money to my boy? Or do I quit the business and spend every weekend and all my time with my son? What do I do? And I quit the business, completely stopped all that, because being with my son and doing the football and doing everything we've always done, every week we was together. And to me, memories are far more important than me. I mean, I could have given him loads of money every weekend. Don't see him, but just give him the money. But I've noticed that I've got 3 children. You give them money, they've forgot you give it to them the next day. But if I create memories with the kids, they got it for the rest of their lives. Even when I'm dead, they remember. Do you remember you used to do that with Dad? You know, that is so far greater. So I quit on all that money purely just so I could spend all my time with my boy. He's 23 now. It's time now for me to, yeah. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. It was 4 years ago. He come round for dinner and he's been sitting down chatting. He said, right, he got to, he said, Dad, we need to be working together. Let's start a business together. Let's go do this and do. And he come out with all this stuff. I looked at him, I said, I'm too old to do all that now. I said, I'm miles too old to do that. Well, I said, where'd you get all this shit from? He said, from you. I said, but I didn't think you listened. He said, you give it to me all my life, he said. And he said, you thought I weren't listening, but I was listening. So he said, you ain't too old. You're never too old. Let's get going. That was amazing. I fed him all this stuff. Didn't think he was listening, but he was.
Yeah.
Because all I've given him, he can do it. He can do it. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. You encourage. You're the cheerleader. Whatever they want to do, you can do it.
You got that as a right back at you, didn't you, really?
Yeah. So that was the worst thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And the greatest thing, the best thing was meeting my Julie. And that was a complete accident because we finished with the third one because life wasn't good. And I'm living back with me dad. Well, in fact, I moved back with my dad because he had a couple of strokes, so I had to move him into the hospital. That was a part of why we parted. But to meet my Julie, and she is my soulmate. For me, she's the best woman on the planet. We've been together for 10 years. We never have a crossword. We laugh every single day. She makes me laugh every day. She gets up 5:30. She runs her own business now. And we laugh. If I go down the pub, she must be with me because she's my mate. And she stands with all my other mates. And she's the best thing I've ever come across in my life. And this is why I say that, you know, if it's not working, the woman you're with or the man you're with might be perfectly good people, but they don't suit you. You've got to find your soulmate. And I found her. And it took me all these years to find her. But it was worth it because I kept looking. I was not going to give up. And we stumbled, you know, we met and that was it. This is perfect.
Fantastic.
And last year we got married in the garden.
Fantastic, Gary. Yeah, I look forward to meeting up with Julie. You told me about her, so yeah, I look forward to meeting up with Julie one day. That'd be great. Yeah. No, good.
Well, she runs her own care business. She's got her own care business. She's a carer, and she is a fantastic carer. That's why I've married her, because she can look after me when I'm old.
I like it. Look, it's been really great today, Gary. Thanks so much for all the wisdom and everything that you've shared with us today. I've really enjoyed it. Now, please tell the audience the best way that they can get in touch with you.
Yeah. Well, they can all have my phone number. You've got my phone number, Patrick, haven't you?
Yeah. We'll share it with the audience here. That's fine.
Yeah. They can get me on anywhere. They can, they get me on Facebook. They can call me at any time, email me anywhere.
So what's your email address, Gary?
Is Gary Bud Price @gmail.com.
Excellent.
Gary Bud Price. I don't have Gary Bud Price because there was already a Gary Price. So I thought Bud was my dog.
Very good. Okay. That's good. So, look, I'd like to thank you again for spending time with us today. Being with Gary Price. Thanks for sharing your time with us today, Gary. And just a goodbye to our listeners. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye, mate.
Thank you for spending time with us today. This has been brought to you by the Case Mastermind Group. Please be sure to follow us in the links to this message. Please give your real, honest feedback on what you have just heard and share what you enjoyed or liked the best. We really do check the feedback that we receive. Please also share with your friends who you believe could benefit from it, just to show you care. To our listeners, remember, no matter where you are on the mountain of success, let's enjoy the journey together to the top. We will see you there, my friends.